What is up, guys? Bro7 here, coming at you live with Bro7 Mania here. Today we're talking about the coveted Universal Champion, Braun Strowman, and his first title defense being in Shinsuke Nakamura, which we've seen that match before, and it was horrible. I mean, the match was, it could be a 5-star match. It's just, I do not feel invested in Braun's title reign. No audience has made it almost impossible to care. And what else is there? Let's see here. Shinsuke match was just Shinsuke Nakamura. He's ruined for one, so it's not really that big of a title defense. Now, if it was Jeff Hardy, maybe it would mean slightly more. But I mean, to be completely honest, Drew McIntyre went against the Big Show. Braun Strowman went against, Shinsuke Nakamura. I feel like those opponents should have been flip-flopped from the get-go. But anyways, let's talk about the ending segment there, the Firefly Funhouse. So Braun beat Shinsuke. And I guess Bray popped up on the thing there to the Firefly Funhouse to basically say, because he does his little segment, which we love. And he did his little thing where he went, I want something that you took. You have something that I lost, and I want it. And he's talking about the Universal title. Well, if memory serves right, first, let me just talk about the damn ridiculousness in this match in its own right, okay? So if we are going to believe, if they're going to go through with a Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman match at any point during the next few months, with Money in the Bank and whatnot, then I want everyone to remember this. SmackDown a few months ago, when the Fiend was the literal shit of the company. He was the top merch seller. He was number one in the business, okay? Everyone loved the Fiend. He was so over. And this was even after the Hell in a Cell incident, okay? I think, maybe, possibly. It might have been right before Saudi Arabia. I can't remember entirely. It was a couple months ago. I don't just live on wrestling, okay? So, let's just discuss this. I remember Braun Strowman looking like a weak, pathetic, just weak. I'm not saying he's completely weak. I'm just saying they pretty much ruined Braun's character back when he was just losing constantly. He should have beat Brock. He should have decimated Roman. He did not. He was flipping ambulances if the guy couldn't beat a human being, He couldn't flip a human being up. So Braun was somehow, I think, in a match with Roman. Or no. It was with Seth, I think. It was Roman versus... I can't remember here. Let me just think about this here, because I would look it up, but I really don't care. It's just the fact that it happened. There was some sort of match or segment, I think, involving Seth and... or Braun or someone. I think it was Braun and Seth was in a match. It might have been Roman and Seth and then, something like that. It just doesn't sound right. I think it was Braun and Seth or just something with Braun. And the Fiend appeared, back when he was doing the random encounters still. And, the crowd popped for him and he saw Braun and then he gave him the mandible claw. Now, I will remind you that Braun Strowman has lost to Lesnar. He's lost to Rollins. I think he's lost to Rollins. I don't think they've actually ever had a match. Maybe a long time ago. It didn't matter, though. I believe he's lost to Roman. He's lost to Brock, like I said. And, when the Fiend put him in that mandible claw, it took him down. Like, it didn't. He didn't go around right away, but he went down. And he was down for the count. And, it just showed how much more the Fiend has over Braun. And the Fiend is supposed to be a special character used only to promote certain pay-per-views. He's not supposed to lose. That's the gimmick, even if he's lost. So, fast forward to WrestleMania here. Well, not WrestleMania, Saudi Arabia. One of the last live shows they did. WWE, for some messed up reason, decided to let the Fiend lose to Goldberg even though he should have went over. He gave this guy probably 3 mandible claws. 3 or 4, I don't remember right. And he got speared a few times, and then he got pinned. And then immediately after the pin, he was up. So it wasn't that he... I guess what they're trying to say is it wasn't that the Fiend was beaten, like TKO'd. It's just he was down long enough for Goldberg to get the count. So if the ref had counted any slower, possibly the Fiend wouldn't have lost. That's the story. Okay? Because the 50-year-old Hall of Famer definitely needs the championship. So Goldberg ended up winning that match, even though he lost to Lesnar. He beat him the first time, but even though he lost to Lesnar and lost to The Undertaker, and Brock beat The Undertaker, Brock also lost to Rollins. The Fiend beat Rollins. He decimated Rollins. The only man to beat Brock Lesnar clean like twice in a row. And he beat him. Okay, the Kingslayer. He beat him. So that would put Wyatt stacking at Rollins' level of, putting people down. You know what I mean? Up there with Brock and stuff. Brock lost to Taker. Brock beat Taker. Okay. Brock also beat Goldberg. But Seth beat Brock. So the fact that Wyatt beat Rollins meant he could beat any of those people. He was literally so over and so on top when it came to the food chain. It was unrealistic to let him lose, especially the fact that it's a homegrown talent. And he's there every goddamn week. But that's not the point, Vince. Just keep doing what you're doing, Vince. I'm sure your company's going to benefit. But what was it there? It's disappointing because Braun is the champion now. He beat Goldberg so easy. No sold it so bad that it kind of makes Wyatt look like a dumbass at this point. That Braun can just no-sell those spears and then kill Goldberg, essentially, when Wyatt couldn't do that. But Brock could beat Goldberg. But Taker could beat Goldberg. It's just a stacking layer. It doesn't make any sense. It's retconning. That's what they would call this in the movies. It's as if you saw Ultron from the Avengers or Loki. Loki, for example. It's as if you saw Loki, he gets his ass creamed in the first movie. And he comes back. Let's say he came back as a bad guy and he didn't get, the third movie he didn't, you know what happened. And let's say he was the main villain. He just beat Thanos. Let's say he just kills Thanos, right? You know how much audiences would be pissed off? Like, they'd probably laugh at first or cheer at first. But then when it starts to set in just how bad of a decision they just made, story-wise and whatnot, you start to sit there and go, well, what the fuck? So I like to say personally that if that ever happened in my Marvel movie, I would be pissed. Same thing with the Goldberg Fiend match. And now that word's coming out that Goldberg uses backstage power like Hogan there to go over the Fiend, it pisses me off even more. Now, I realize that the Fiend was supposed to lose at Mania regardless, which, I understand that. But that was when Roman was set up, which the build for Roman to Mania was fucking ridiculous. It was so stupid. It was possibly the worst excuse I've ever seen. At least back in 2016 with the Rumble, him losing that, they at least tried to build a reasoning for it. Now he just walks out and demands that he's in the main event. It's trash. AEW, they always explain why these people are always getting to where they are. They don't retcon themselves. They do a really good job fulfilling promises and doing things the right way. Storytelling is not that hard. I know this because, someone can make a story about a cat in a hat and base it off a franchise and make $1 million. So I don't understand why WWE cannot make a simple story. It's not that hard. It's called an arc. Rise, climax, fall, rebirth. And Bray Wyatt so far, is the money seller. He's the ticket seller. He's an actual homegrown talent, which it's unfortunate because it's too late, because now Bray Wyatt's, he's in a generation where there's literally no talent. Well, there's a lot of talent, but there's no mega stars. The last one was John Cena, and he went over, but there was no title. So what the hell? What was the point? Goldberg is 50 plus years old. He can't even lift someone. I'm supposed to sit here and believe that he was supposed to give a jackhammer to Braun Strowman. Yeah, okay. He would probably have went into cardiac arrest and died if that was the case. But going back to this match here, I know I'm taking forever here, but I want you guys to get the gist of what is going through my mind when I turn on my television and I see this garbage plot. Now, for all I know, they could do a really good job. They could do a really, really good job with this. They could make it really good, and they could do it right.